Diddy is in the crosshairs of the feds, and they mean business.
You would have thought they were taking down a violent gang leader, not somebody who makes music and has charmed America for decades.
Diddy is under criminal investigation after multiple lawsuits accused him of horrific crimes.
Music mogul Sean Diddy Combs accused of sex trafficking and sexual assault.
Now, people who lived in Diddy's world are talking to TMZ, and what they say is revealing and disturbing.
I knew all of that was going on. I've known the whole time.
I've seen Puff have anger spazzes on producers, females.
I'm a savage. Whatever I want, I'm going to get. Whatever I want, I have to get.
Diddy's alleged bad behavior went unchecked for years.
There have always been whispers and rumblings about Diddy.
His famous friends are heading for the hills.
They have 250 cameras they took out his house. A lot of people might be running from that tape.
I don't think it's only celebrities going to be shook. He had politicians in there. He had princes in there. He also had a couple of preachers in there.
People may fear that somehow he makes it out of this.
What did they fear?
A flat tire, being murdered, I don't know.
But Suge Knight, Diddy's archenemy, shockingly is sad over Diddy's undoing.
I'm not the type of guy to cheer for people's downfall. And if somebody gets killed or something happens to them, I'm not going to pop champagne bottles.
I done seen this dude shake back from some stuff, right? So I'm not going to count him out.
TMZ presents The Downfall of Diddy.
I had just gotten out of the shower and walked inside of the studio, and it was such a nice day. I'm like, let me go sit outside on the bench for a little while. Heard a big boom, and then I heard like goo, 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 like the sounds of like armored vehicles approaching.
Simultaneous raids on March 25th, 2024. A massive show of force. Dozens of Homeland Security officers rolled up in armored vehicles at Sean Diddy Combs' mansions in Miami and LA. Diddy's close friend and producer, Stevie J, was at the Miami property when things got real.
Guys jumped out, you know what I'm saying? Guns up and aimed. Get up, get on the fucking ground, drop your fucking phone. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, yo, I'm here by myself. You know, I didn't ask too many questions. I've seen quite a lot of things, but none with the excessive force of this right here.
You would have thought they were taking down a violent gang leader, not somebody who makes music and appears in movies and has charmed America for decades.
Breaking news, the Department of Homeland Security has just confirmed to CNN that federal law enforcement agents have raided properties owned by musician and producer Sean Diddy Combs.
You can see a crowbar to get through this gate initially as well, the long guns, and a multitude of people. As you'll see, they'll zoom out a little bit just to see the amount of force they are using.
You know him as Diddy, formerly Puff Daddy, big-time rapper, big-time producer, big-time superstar, and now the feds at his houses in both locations.
Federal officers spent hours removing firearms, computers, boxes, and bags of items. Both properties left in shambles.
They didn't do this to Harvey Weinstein, right? They didn't do this like this to Epstein, right?
Diddy's lawyer called the raids a gross overuse of military-level force and a witch hunt.
He said Mr. Combs is innocent and will continue to fight every single day to clear his name.
I don't know what they're looking for or where they're trying to reach.
In LA, 2 of Diddy's sons, Justin and King, were briefly detained, then released.
A week later, Justin's mom, Misa Hilton, posted this shocking video on social media. Security footage from inside the house. Officers with guns drawn and pointed toward Justin and his brother King. Misa called it overzealous and deplorable.
It's hard for me to imagine that had this been many other celebrities, particularly white celebrities, that their children would have been in handcuffs and they would have been forced to stare down the barrel of guns and seen armored tanks. It just seemed like a lot for a raid of a music producer.
You have to remember that Diddy has been in trouble on some weapons violations in the past. He has security. These are vast compounds with multiple people at them. And so using this type of force was not inappropriate in any way, shape, or form.
A federal judge had determined there was evidence, significant evidence, Diddy was involved in sex trafficking, sexual assault, and soliciting and distributing illegal narcotics and firearms. And that's why the search warrants were signed.
This is a massive investigation. The idea that the feds have taken up this investigation in the first place indicates that it's remarkably serious.
Aubrey O'Day, a member of Danity Kane and star of Making the Band, has been the lone voice for years, saying Diddy is a bad guy. She has not spoken publicly since the new allegations surfaced, until now.
If these allegations are true, why did it take so long for others to speak out? Because you really were a lone voice.
Real lone voice. I was literally text messaging producers, employers, from top to bottom levels. Like, y'all know what the fuck you saw. People were scared. If you know enough, you likely would be reasonable in being scared.
What did they fear?
Anything you possibly could, Harvey. A flat tire, being murdered, I don't know. There's a lot of things people fear.
People don't like to go after a powerful person unless they're sure they will be victorious. Because if you go after a powerful person and it doesn't work out, as Omar from The Wire said, you come for the king, you best not miss. And people don't want to miss, because if you miss, that means you're shut out of the music industry, you might be shut out of Hollywood, you might lose opportunities, and based on some of these rumors, your car might blow up in your driveway.
Together, guys? In order to get the warrants, the feds got one of Diddy's ex-girlfriends, Cassie Ventura, to describe how Diddy was involved in various criminal misdeeds. Others who recently filed lawsuits against Diddy did the same.
When we see, though, the Southern District of New York get involved in the way that they have, with obviously having a search warrant, which means probable cause, multi-agencies involved, it tells me that there's something that we perhaps do not know yet, whether that's cooperating witnesses or whether that's allegations that are beyond what's currently in the public domain, something that has given them the indication to launch this investigation at this broad of a scale.
Based on the lawsuits and the federal search warrants that a judge signed, alleging human trafficking, firearms violations, sexual assault, all these other things, does any of that surprise you?
No, I knew all of that was going on. I've known the whole time. I know what's gone on. A whole lot of people do, Harvey.
It's a stunning downfall. At 54, Diddy had it all: wealth, fame, power.
The key to the city!
But Cassie's lawsuit led to a cavalcade of other lawsuits and allegations that have rebranded the mogul as an alleged sex-crazed predator who would stop at nothing to get what he wanted.
Diddy wasn't home when the raids went down. He was at a small Miami airport where he was set to leave for a vacation. He was questioned briefly by authorities and released. TMZ captured these images of Diddy pacing nervously after the encounter.
I guess you wonder what's going to happen next, Diddy. I know.
Diddy wasn't arrested that day, but a member of his entourage was. 25-year-old Brendan Poole is now charged with possession of cocaine and marijuana candy.
What's up, Puff? How you doing, man?
How you doing, Diddy?
You doing, love?
Good. How y'all doing?
Good, man.
Here's the thing. There were rumblings about Diddy's bad behavior for years, from drugs to physical abuse to guns. But none of it derailed his success. He seemed invincible.
I'm the best. I'm not the worst. I'm the best. You know what I'm saying? I've had my different things and point of views and stuff like that in the past, but I'm cured now. I'm loved and everything is all right.
There you go.
But everything may not be all right for Diddy anymore. Once the Fed's investigation is complete, Diddy could face charges that could land him in prison for the rest of his life.
Music mogul Sean Diddy Combs accused of sex trafficking and sexual assault in a lawsuit filed in federal court here in New York.
Cassie describing the music mogul as a vicious, cruel, and controlling man, saying she was trapped and held down by Combs.
Cassie Ventura was Diddy's on and off again girlfriend for a decade, and her allegations turned Diddy's world upside down. Cassie filed a lawsuit in November 2023, and that was the catalyst for the federal investigation and those military-style raids.
How unusual is it for the feds to kind of have their eyes opened by civil litigation, which seems to have happened here?
Well, it's certainly important for the feds, the Department of Justice, to have their eyes open to what's going on around them. With the Department of Homeland Security involved, that indicates that this goes beyond the border. And that tells me that the Department of Justice and the investigators in this case may have inclinations or information about that has led to the massive scale of this investigation.
Cassie was a 19-year-old singer when Diddy signed her to his Bad Boy record label shortly after they met.
I wanted everybody to meet Cassie. Y'all know that's Cassie. When I saw her and I met her, that's what kind of made me like really fall in love with the project, because I saw something more than just records.
Cassie's self-titled album was released in 2006. About a year later, her relationship with Diddy became romantic.
In her lawsuit, Cassie claimed Diddy quickly lured her into an ostentatious, fast-paced, and drug-fueled lifestyle. She said Diddy gave her copious amounts of drugs, including opiates and ecstasy.
There you go, show her to Cassie right here, guys. And together, guys, right here, Cassie.
Cassie claimed Diddy was often violent, forced her to carry a gun in her purse. She says in 2012, Diddy became enraged when he heard about a brief relationship she had with rapper Kid Cudi during a rough patch with Diddy. Diddy threatened to blow up Kid Cudi's car. Kid Cudi confirmed his car had been blown up in his driveway.
In 2015, Cassie claims a severely intoxicated Diddy dangled one of her friends off a 17th floor hotel balcony.
The complaint going on to accuse Combs of uncontrollable rage, alleging that he often punched, beat, kicked, and stomped on her, then allegedly used his money to hide evidence of abuse, including putting Ventura up in a hotel for days to heal.
Cassie described one violent incident where Diddy stomped on her face repeatedly, causing her to bleed profusely. She says Diddy's head of security tried to step in, but he was unsuccessful.
From wild sex parties to sex workers, the allegations against this music mogul are shocking.
At one point also, she said that he would force her to interact sexually with escorts, and he would watch himself and enjoy himself and pleasure himself while watching her. They were called freak-offs. Very interesting term.
I've never witnessed that type of behavior. I don't know what a man do in his bedroom or nothing like that. They was rocking together. From what I know, all I know is they both was rock stars, living their best life in a relationship.
Cassie claims she only participated in those freak-off encounters because she was afraid she'd be beaten if she refused.
Cassie also claimed near the end of their relationship, Diddy forced his way into her home and raped her.
All of the Diddy controversy exploded because of the Cassie lawsuit. Once Cassie files that civil suit, now people feel like it's not rumor or innuendo anymore. You have somebody who was in a publicly known relationship with him for a very long time. And when that person is making allegations about freak-offs, and when that person is talking about different types of potentially criminal activity that's being alleged, now people believe it.
One of the biggest legal blunders of all time was when Cassie threatened a lawsuit unless Diddy paid her $30 million. He told her to pound sand, never believing she'd do it. But she did. Diddy's lawyer insisted Cassie was blackmailing his client, but that lawsuit opened Pandora's box.
Social media, especially TikTok, went crazy, and in a nanosecond, Diddy's reputation was trashed.
Ooh, Diddy, you are in trouble.
The stuff that he made her do is sick. I hope Cassie gets the justice that she deserves.
Diddy, you are going to prison. Honey, Cassie has bought the receipts on Diddy, honey, and she's suing him for the things he's done to her.
Diddy tried to stop the bleeding by settling with Cassie just a day after she filed. His lawyer said it was not an admission of wrongdoing, but the damage was done.
Diddy's most egregious and fatal error strategically was not settling with Cassie behind closed doors. If he settles with Cassie behind closed doors, there's a good chance that none of this controversy is happening. There's a good chance that other people wouldn't have their own lawsuits pile on. There's a good chance law enforcement wouldn't have had their radars activated by all the allegations of illegal activity. There's a chance that Diddy would just be living his normal billionaire life right now.
What more do I have to do, man? Look at my hat, man. Look at my hat. Look how I show up on the Amalfi Coast, B.
It looked like she put so much information out into the streets that embarrassed you that you didn't want any more of it to come out. And because of that, Diddy looks more guilty than he did had he just settled behind closed doors from the beginning.
If she said that he did it, he did it. Did you read the things that he did to her?
P. Diddy going to jail. Yeah, he going to jail.
When the lawsuit happened, it started a domino effect, but also what was said in the lawsuit was really the part that took people by surprise because of the rape allegations, of the sex trafficking allegations, of the abuse that she went into detail about. It was very much like, oh, this is definitely the one that's going to shake the table and shake its foundation.
Suddenly, it was like everyone was just coming out of the woodwork.
I was sick. I was sick of you. I was sick of everything that was going on around you. I was sick of having to cover up everything that you did.
When Cassie found the strength to use her voice and speak her truth, it gave other people the courage to do the same. And I think that's also just kind of how this reckoning came to be. If one person has a power and has the ability to be honest and tell their story, then it allows other people to do the same.
In fact, at least 3 other women came forward and filed lawsuits. Joy Dickerson-Neal claimed Diddy drugged and sexually assaulted her 33 years ago and secretly recorded the encounter, and then shared it with others. Liza Gardner claimed Diddy raped her and a friend in 1990. And another woman who refused to be named claimed Diddy and 2 other men gang raped her when she was just 17.
Diddy is now facing another very serious lawsuit. And, you know, this all started with the Cassie lawsuit. And then there were 2 more accusers. An anonymous accuser, as a Jane Doe, filed it in federal court today. And her allegation goes back to 2003.
It was bad for Diddy. 4 women had come forward within 3 weeks in November and December 2023. Diddy himself finally released a statement saying, and this is a quote, "Enough is enough. For the last couple of weeks, I have sat silently and watched people try to assassinate my character, destroy my reputation and my legacy. Sickening allegations have been made against me by individuals looking for a quick payday."
Diddy's response to all of these lawsuits has been, they're coming after my money, everybody's an extortionist. That's not entirely untrue. I mean, everybody connected to him in these lawsuits has made money off of him. They've expected payment from him. But because somebody pays your bills doesn't mean that they're entitled to do harm to you. It doesn't mean that they're entitled to exploit you or abuse you or otherwise mistreat you. So yes, people might want more money from you, but it doesn't mean you're off the hook.
New allegations of sexual harassment and assault against Sean Diddy Combs.
On February 26, 2024, yet another lawsuit was filed against Diddy, this one from Rodney Lil Rod Jones, one of Diddy's former producers and videographers. And the allegations were even more shocking.
He is alleging groping, fondling, grooming, and he goes on and on about going to a party where he says he was drugged and allegedly raped.
Rodney Lil Rod Jones worked with Diddy for about a year starting in 2022. He claims he recorded hundreds of hours of video and audio of Diddy, his staff, and others engaging in serious illegal activity.
Everybody's just telling me what he's allegedly capable of, and, you know, it's very scary for myself, and, you know, it has me worried about my kids and, you know, just sleeping with anxiety and different things like that. So just moving forward, just gonna pause on everything until we know that it's clear and safe for me to come back outside of work.
Jones claims he has irrefutable evidence depicting, among other things, Diddy's illicit drug use and unregistered firearms.
Jones also claims he witnessed Diddy and other famous rappers consorting with underage girls and sex workers. And the lawsuit alleges Diddy kept 3 sex workers on a monthly retainer, including Daphne Joy, who has a son with Diddy's nemesis, 50 Cent. Daphne denies the claim.
And here's the clincher. Jones alleges he was repeatedly sexually assaulted by Diddy.
It's usually rare that a male will step forward and accuse someone of sexual assault and, you know, participating in freak-offs and things of that nature. When he came forward, it definitely added to the disturbing claims that Diddy was already up against. It's just now, from a male perspective, as someone who worked closely with him on his last album.
What's up, Diddy? I want to tell anyone out there watching, this is not about his sexuality. That has been a big focus highlighted everywhere.
I think that Puffy is not man enough to come out and simply say he's bisexual.
Bisexual, black male, sex cult.
Do you want to know what the judicial system cares about? Crimes. They don't care if a man has sex with a man, a woman, or 18 women. And I believe in the justice system. And the justice system doesn't rate anyone's home over their sexuality.
NBC is learning exclusively that the music producer accusing Diddy of sexual assault and harassment is also accusing actor Cuba Gooding Jr. Now, he's saying Gooding groped and fondled him while they were on Combs' yacht.
His case got more holes than a Jamaican shirt. Lil Rod is a fraud, man. You know, he don't got no legs to stand on. This is merely an extortion attempt by him and his lawyer. That's all I can say.
Diddy attorney Sean Hawley told TMZ in a statement, Lil Rod is nothing more than a liar who filed a $30 million lawsuit shamelessly looking for an undeserved payday. His reckless name-dropping about events that are pure fiction and simply did not happen is nothing more than a transparent attempt to garner headlines. In fact, TMZ has learned there are some big problems with Rodney Jones' lawsuit. For one, it was filed by an attorney named Tyrone Blackburn, who is under the microscope of a federal disciplinary committee in New York. A judge who ordered that committee to look into Blackburn's tactics said the lawyer had shown a pattern of filing, and this is a quote, cases in federal court to garner media attention, embarrass defendants with salacious allegations, and pressure defendants to settle quickly. Another big problem, Jones included in the lawsuit a screen grab he claimed was Diddy's producer and close friend Stevie J having sex with another man. But apparently, it wasn't Stevie J.
The photo is definitely not myself, you know what I'm saying? This lie has been ongoing for a long time. A guy from the LGBT community, a porn star, he raised his hand. He said, that's my dirty work. That ain't my work. That's cool if dudes do that, but that's not my thing. I like to embrace a nice woman with, you know. I wasn't mad. It's just like, for the hard work I put in for these 30 years in this industry, this is what I gotta resort to. Watching this, my kids gotta see this, my mom got to see this.
It seemed much more like a tell-all rag book than it did an actual civil lawsuit. When you combine how bizarre the lawsuit looked with his attorney being a little bit sketchy in terms of the kind of cases he takes up, it felt like it could be a bit of revenge combined with legitimate concern.
With all the allegations and a federal investigation that seems to be closing in on Diddy, you'd think it's over for him. But don't count him out just yet. Diddy has dodged bullets before, and lots of them.
This is not Combs' first run-in with the law. He was arrested in April for assaulting a record executive.
Combs testified before a grand jury this week.
Combs was arrested at the university's Acosta Athletic Training Complex for assault.
He also had run-ins with the law, accused of assaulting a photographer.
He's been having controversies since the early 90s, and he's never been convicted of any serious crimes. He's been lots of allegations, lots of accusations.
His first bout with trouble was way back in 1991. Diddy co-promoted an event in New York City. The number of folks who showed up was nearly twice the capacity for the venue, resulting in a stampede that led to 9 deaths and 29 injuries.
The things I deal with can't no way measure up to the pain that the families deal with. And I just pray for the families, and I pray for the children that lost their lives.
Diddy was at the center of a violent incident again in December 1999. And this time, one of the biggest stars on the planet would be pulled into the fray.
Police say Lopez and Combs were picked up along with his bodyguard and driver, fleeing a shooting in a Manhattan nightclub that left 3 people injured.
Diddy was dating Jennifer Lopez. One night, he took her out to a New York City nightclub when all hell broke loose.
So essentially, J-Lo and Diddy were out partying with a couple of his friends, their friends, Shine, another rapper, and an altercation ensued, shots were fired.
I feel terrible that people were hurt that night.
Puffy's talking about the shooting inside Club New York in the wee hours of Monday morning. 3 people were shot. None of them received life-threatening injuries. Police say after the shooting, Puffy and his equally famous girlfriend, actress-singer Jennifer Lopez, fled in a Lincoln Navigator.
3 people were shot and injured. Diddy, J-Lo, and a bodyguard named Anthony Wolf Jones were later arrested, charged, and hauled into jail.
Mr. Combs feels very confident. Mr. Combs is not guilty. He is focused. He wants the trial to start, and he is confident that when it's over, we'll be standing out here telling you that he's just been acquitted.
Diddy was found not guilty. Shine was convicted of assault and reckless endangerment. He served 9 years in prison, but questions linger. Was it actually Diddy who pulled the trigger? And did Shine just take the fall?
I literally watched them pull out the guns. I've had a clear point of view. I mean, for God's sake, I got shot in my nose. I was facing them directly. I watched everything occur and have described it, vehemently to all parties involved. I have 9 bullet fragments remaining in my face.
Diddy arrested for making terrorist threats at UCLA. It involves his son. It involves a very famous football coach and an altercation that ended up with Diddy holding a kettlebell. And the question, was he trying to hit this coach with a kettlebell or was he trying to defend himself?
One thing you got to do is you have to be there for your kids 110%. So as a father, if you feel, or a mother, anybody can relate to if you feel like you have to go and straighten something out for your child. Was there a kettlebell involved? I went there to communicate.
Diddy was charged with 3 counts of assault with a deadly weapon, 1 count of making terrorist threats, and 1 count of battery. But the DA wound up dropping the case.
He kind of just has a way of getting out of very tough situations, and he's been doing so for decades.
Rapper and songwriter Mark Curry worked with Diddy for nearly a decade and says Diddy definitely has an ugly side.
I've seen Puff have anger spazzes on producers, females. I'm a savage. Whatever I want, I'm going to get. Whatever I want, I have to get.
A&Rs, every people who work for him. So not just the females, it's guys, producers. I seen them spaz.
Curry remembers a particularly nasty incident between Diddy and the mother of 4 of his children, Kim Porter.
You saw him get physical with Kim?
I didn't see him get physical with Kim, but I know situations where, let's say if Kim says she fell on a boat and broke her nose, and I say that's not actually what happened. She went into it, she just got a broke nose. I think her and Puff went to home together, and then next thing you know, she had the Band-Aid on. So you already know what happened. So she didn't, you say, she slipped and she fell. No, I don't think that, because they was just arguing real big last night. He was really mad.
Kim Porter died of pneumonia in 2018, but she was just one of a long list of women who were allegedly abused by Diddy.